Hey guys, welcome back to the Nick Cameron YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing a video on top 10 reasons why you should think about picking up an old Toyota Corolla. First reason why you guys should think about picking up an old Corolla like this is because they get really good gas mileage. These old Corollas, like any compact car, have low curb weight, and this one has a 1.8 liter engine that's naturally aspirated. So you can find yourself getting really good gas mileage. And nowadays with these crazy gas prices, you can find yourself probably saving quite a bit of money. Cameron has been getting consistently over 30 mpg with this thing, with a manual transmission, and he only has to put 87 in it, which is the cheapest gas you can get, so you can save yourself some serious dough. Number two reason why you guys should think about picking up an old Toyota Corolla like this is because of the reliability. I've seen enough videos on the internet of Toyotas running with like holes in the blocks and 20-year-old oil to know that these things basically run forever, and unlike most cars, when you see 200k miles on the clock, you won't be thinking about taking it to the scrapyard. You'll just be thinking it's broken in like your mom. No offense to anybody's mom, but anyways, seriously though, these things are really awesome reliability, basically indestructible engines. I mean, they're not indestructible, but compared to a lot of its counterparts, Toyota has kind of seen the best reliability and unmatched. So Cameron has had a lot luck so far. I mean, he just got the car, but he expects to be running this thing well over 300,000 miles. The third reason I suggest buying an old Corolla like this is because these things are cheap to buy. Cameron picked his up for only $3,100, and you can find, and his is a Corolla S with the 5-speed. A lot of cars nowadays, due to the pandemic, have skyrocketed in prices because of supply shortages, but because there are like literally millions of these things, there's still an endless supply and they're everywhere. So you won't expect to see the prices really jump, and they basically stayed the same. You can find the CEs for like $2,500, and then basically each price or trim level kind of goes up about $500 from there nowadays. And if you get the XRS, like the top dog with the special engine, a 6-speed manual, you can expect to pay maybe like $5 grand. But really, these cars are really awesome value for the money, and they're genuinely super cheap, which is kind of hard to beat nowadays. Getting a cheap, reliable car is not very easy. The fourth reason I think you guys should pick up an old Corolla like this is because they have super cheap parts. These things were made back in the day, dime a dozen, and they were like the best-selling car in the US for a while, which means there are not only thousands on the road, but there are also thousands of them in junkyards, which means that you can find parts super cheap at pick and pulls. They're easy to find. Also, they have great OEM Toyota factory support because they're still new enough to the point where they didn't stop making parts. Some things you can't find, like painted or whatever, but Cameron, in fact, is actually getting a really good deal soon. As you guys can see, his bumper has a little bit of wear and tear, and his wing, his active aero actually moves a little bit, but he found a paint match bumper and wing for just $80. That's a screaming deal. With the valences, which is a pretty key part. Those are pretty expensive. So that's just one example, and you guys can find powertrain parts and everything for very cheap on these cars, and that makes them really awesome to maintain. The fifth reason why you guys should consider picking up an old Corolla like this is because they're extremely easy to work on. There are probably a million different forum posts, all from 2006 on the internet at this point, which means that every issue on this car has been solved. There's also a healthy amount of YouTube tutorials due to the popularity of this car, which makes working on the car simple and even easier than most cars. The lack of complexity in the car makes it really easy to work on. You don't have to deal with complicated electronic modules. There's not a ton of extra features. Things are built simply on these Toyotas. And you also don't have an overabundance of plastic covers everywhere, which make things hard to get to. In general, these things are super easy to work on, which is great for someone looking to save some money. Number 6 reason why you guys should think about picking up an old Toyota Corolla is because for a car this small, these things have solid interior space with actually a surprisingly usable back seat and comfy front seat. Most importantly, they have a huge trunk for how big it looks on the outside. There's enough space for a serial killer to put his bodies, which is pretty great. And I'm going to demonstrate that real quick. Another great feature is that these seats fold down. So as you can see, your prisoner or whoever can get through the back if they need to and want to leave, or you can put skis or snowboards or whatever, because you can just move this seat forward, and this is completely flat, which makes the interior really practical. Number 7 reason why you should think about picking up an old Corolla is that these things are offered in a manual transmission. This one has a 5-speed, this Corolla S, and it's kind of surprising that you can find a 2000s car this easy. There's almost a 50-50 split of automatics and manuals. So if you want a manual transmission, you can find these in these old Corollas, and it makes it really great for a car who you need to teach someone how to learn manual, or they want to learn manual, or you just want a little bit more fun on a curvy back road. Overall, Cameron has been loving his 5-speed manual, and they don't really cost extra, which is awesome. Number 8 reason why you guys should consider one of these old Corollas right now is because these things are compact cars. You can park them anywhere. They're pretty small. The wheelbase is not that long. You don't have super long overhangs, which means you don't have to worry about, oh, my hood's sticking out like 4 feet in front of me, like a big boat. And also the turning radius on these things is really tight, and that makes it really great for if you live in an apartment complex with compact parking spots or whatever, or maybe your school's parking lot has a really small parking lot. Overall, it's really easy to park and really easy to maneuver. You can kind of place it in the middle of a lane on a road. It's great. So yeah, they're just small cars. Number 9 reason why you guys should think about an old Corolla is because these things are actually surprisingly fun to drive. With the small curb weight, Cameron said it weighs about 2,500 pounds. You can toss them into corners. They handle surprisingly well. The S has a little bit stiffer suspension, I believe, than the CE and LE models. And if you guys want an XRS, those things are actually pretty surprisingly performance-based cars. They rev to almost 8 grand, and they have a 6-speed manual. They're super fun to drive. This one revs to 6.5, and with the 5-speed, they're a lot of fun. So it may not look like a lot of fun. It looks kind of boring, but I mean, a lot of people want Civics when they think of small front-wheel drive, like fun hatchback or Cooper sedan or whatever. But these things are surprisingly fun if you guys like to have fun on a back road. The 10th and final reason why you guys should think about buying one of these old Corollas is because cosmetically, they are pieces of junk. These things are freaking beaters. These are old cars. They've been scratched to hell. And because your 20-year-old Corolla has more scratches and dents than COVID variants, you probably won't be bothered when a Nissan Altima with bald tires bumps into you into the Walmart parking lot, or when an angry Karen pushes a shopping cart into your car. You don't have to worry about like an $8,000 scratch on your brand new Mercedes or something. The body panels you can find, Cameron's picking up some himself. You can get auto body pretty easily. They're not particularly difficult. You don't have to worry about like carbon fiber shit or anything. Overall, these things are beaters, and you can just beat on them. You can use them as a winter beater. You can just drive them hard, and guess what? They will be there every day because nobody wants to steal these. Because yeah, just look at them. And overall, these things are freaking awesome for just getting beat on. So those are my top 10 reasons why you should consider buying one of these old Corollas. This is the 2003 to 2008 model run. These things are just awesome cars all around. They're cheap to work on, they're cheap to run, they're cheap to own. Oh yeah, forgot to mention, cheap to insure. And guess what? They're beaters, so you don't have to worry about an expensive car getting hit or whatever. And overall, they're just pretty awesome cars. So thank you guys for watching our video, and please like and subscribe. We're gonna have another video up on this car pretty soon, a full review. And we have other Toyota reviews on our channel that you guys should go check out.